What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about Goetia, one of the most powerful servants in Fate/Grand Order. Goetia is a beast, which means he's one of the 7 greatest threats to humanity. He's also the first beast that we encounter in the game, so he's a pretty important character. But before we get into his powers and abilities, let me tell you a little bit about his backstory. Goetia is actually the aggregate body of the 72 demon god pillars, which are beings from a higher dimension. They were created by King Solomon, who used them to help him rule his kingdom. However, after Solomon's death, the demon god pillars rebelled against him and took over his body. Now, let's talk about Goetia's powers and abilities. He's incredibly powerful, and he has a wide range of abilities at his disposal. He can summon demons, control the weather, and even create illusions. He's also incredibly intelligent, and he's a master strategist. Goetia is a very dangerous opponent, and he's definitely not someone to be taken lightly. However, he's also a very interesting character, and I think he's a lot of fun to learn about. So, without further ado, let's get started. Powers and abilities. So, now that you know a little bit about Goetia's backstory, let's talk about his powers and abilities. As I mentioned before, Goetia is incredibly powerful. He has a wide range of abilities at his disposal, including summoning demons. Goetia can summon demons from the Ars Paulina, a reality marble that he created. These demons are incredibly powerful, and they can be used to fight against his enemies. Controlling the weather. Goetia can control the weather, using it to his advantage in battle. He can create storms, lightning, and even earthquakes. Creating illusions. Goetia can create illusions, which he can use to deceive his enemies. These illusions can be very realistic, and they can be used to trick enemies into making mistakes. Intelligence. Goetia is incredibly intelligent, and he's a master strategist. He's able to think several moves ahead, and he's always one step ahead of his enemies. But wait, there's more. In addition to his standard powers and abilities, Goetia also has a few other tricks up his sleeve. For example, he can turn into a giant demon. When Goetia gets really angry, he can transform into a giant demon. This form is even more powerful than his normal form, and it's basically impossible to defeat. Use his magic to create a pocket dimension. Goetia can use his magic to create a pocket dimension. This dimension is completely under his control, and he can use it to store his enemies, torture them, or whatever else he wants. Shoot lasers from his eyes. Goetia can shoot lasers from his eyes. These lasers are incredibly powerful, and they can easily destroy anything they hit. So, yeah, Goetia is pretty powerful. But he's not invincible. He has a few weaknesses, including he's arrogant. Goetia is incredibly arrogant, and he often underestimates his opponents. This can lead to him making mistakes, which can be exploited by his enemies. He's not very creative. Goetia is a very powerful mage, but he's not very creative. He tends to rely on the same old spells and techniques, which can make him predictable. He's a bit of a glass cannon. Goetia is incredibly powerful, but he's also very fragile. He can be easily killed if he's not careful. So, there you have it. That's Goetia in a nutshell. He's a powerful, arrogant, and dangerous opponent. But he's also not invincible. If you're ever facing him in battle, be sure to keep his weaknesses in mind. And if you're ever lucky enough to defeat him, be sure to rub it in his face. He deserves it. But seriously, though, be careful. Goetia is not to be trifled with. Personality. So, now that you know a little bit about Goetia's powers and abilities, let's talk about his personality. Goetia is a very complex character. He's intelligent, powerful, and ruthless. He's also very arrogant, and he believes that he is superior to all other beings. However, he's also capable of great compassion, and he truly believes that he is doing what is best for humanity. Goetia is the kind of guy who would steal your girlfriend and then tell you that you should be grateful. He's the kind of guy who would cut you off in traffic and then flip you off. He's the kind of guy who would take the last slice of pizza and then say that he didn't see you. But he's also kind of awesome. He's incredibly powerful, and he's always up for a good time. He's the kind of guy who would go skydiving without a parachute, and he'd probably do it while wearing a clown suit. So, yeah, Goetia is a bit of a mixed bag. He's arrogant, ruthless, and kind of a jerk. But he's also powerful, compassionate, and kind of awesome. Goetia is a product of his environment. He was created by King Solomon to be a powerful weapon, and he was trained to believe that humanity was weak and corrupt. As a result, he developed a deep hatred for humanity, and he believed that he was the only one who could save them from themselves. Goetia's actions were ultimately misguided, but he was motivated by a sincere desire to help humanity. He believed that he was doing what was best for humanity, even if it meant destroying them. Goetia is a complex and tragic figure. He's a reminder that even the best intentions can have disastrous consequences. Conclusion. So, there you have it. That's Goetia in a nutshell. He's a powerful, arrogant, dangerous opponent. But he's also not invincible. If you're ever facing him in battle, be sure to keep his weaknesses in mind. And if you're ever lucky enough to defeat him, be sure to rub it in his face. He deserves it. But seriously, though, be careful. Goetia is not to be trifled with.
If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be here until next time.